And then I think I went into a little bit of a depression. I wasn't eligible for PPP. As a woman, as a Black woman specifically, I've lived the life of like adapt, move on, figure it out.
I'm an Oprah with it. Everybody get a trash can. You get a trash can. You get a trash can.
Targeted by hate.
We're talking about several Black-owned businesses in the Philadelphia area receiving racist and threatening emails overnight.
Somebody decided to send out a really nasty email to us. You need to see a Black face. It's okay that I'm here and that I'm taking up space and that I'm making noise. I bring a DJ out there, and being in a lot of ways unapologetically Black, right? And being in a lot of ways unapologetically woman. Wanted to have a bookstore, but I thought this was going to happen years and years and years. Like I'd retire into it. But what started off as like a whisper got louder and louder and louder and became at some point a scream. Hi, I am Jeannine A. Cook. I call myself the shopkeeper of Harriett's Bookshop in the Fishtown section of Philadelphia. So Harriet's Bookshop is named for historic heroine Harriet Tubman, and our mission is to celebrate women authors, women artists, women activists. Toni Morrison, but she has a quote, and I'm gonna butcher it because I'm nowhere as good as she is. But she says, you know, if there is a book that you want to read and you can't find it, it might mean that you need to write that book. And that's the same thing with the bookstore. Like, I'd never been in a bookstore that really just focused and celebrated women, especially Black women. And that, you know, I'd never been in a bookstore with a children's section where you see brown children on almost all of the covers of the books. You know, people are like, oh, that's corny. Like, men are not going to shop there. Men aren't going to give you their money. Like, why would you be so specific? What about white people? You know, I never said that we were exclusive or that there was someone who couldn't come in here. All we're doing, the mission is to celebrate women, women authors, women artists, women activists. And not knowing that, you know, fast forward a few months, everything that would happen with George Floyd's murder and with Breonna Taylor's murder would occur, and that it would be even more essential socially for people to understand their ignorance around certain topics. We knew we officially wanted to open on February 1st, which is considered to be Freedom Day, but also like marks the beginning of Black History Month. And I think we were bringing a vibrancy to the block, to the community. And being in a lot of ways unapologetically Black, right? And being in a lot of ways unapologetically woman. That was what was exciting to me. And then 6 weeks later, we were told we needed to shut down.
I am issuing a stay-at-home order for 6 more counties right now. You must stay in your homes unless not leaving your home endangers a life.
And then I think I went into a little bit of a depression. I wasn't eligible for PPP and all of the other like things that all the loans that were flying around. I wasn't really eligible for them. I'm super small and still was, you know, had a lot of like folks like, you know, you can do it. And then we did switch things to online and open the online store. So I think that as a woman, as a Black woman specifically, I've lived the life of like adapt, move on, figure it out, catch up. You don't understand that? Figure it out, you know, and so I have been doing that my entire life.
Breaking tonight, peaceful demonstrations turning violent in Philadelphia.
Unfortunately, I think after what happened with George Floyd, people had a huge reckoning with their ignorance. And where do you go when you're ignorant? If you're smart, you go to a book. You know, I hope it's not a trend. I hope it's not just like, you know, something that makes people feel good in the moment and then they return to their, you know, old ways. Especially in a neighborhood like Fishtown, this is what it's needed. You need to see a Black face. It's okay that I'm here and that I'm taking up space and that I'm making noise. I bring a DJ out there. You know, I make noise because You know, for far too long, this neighborhood has been able to hide itself in its ignorance and not really face it. Right? A woman told me, she was like, oh, I got to think about Harriett Tubman every time I come past here. And then I got to think about slavery. Yes, you do have to think about that. Yup. You know, because you know who else got to think about it? Me. You know what I mean? And so, good, you know, congratulations. Welcome. It's a lot of boxes, a lot of cardboard. So if we could figure out a way to make this all like environmentally friendly, you know, not so much trash, it would be great. You know, for a few weeks, and folks who aren't from Philly don't know, but Philly's been having a really bad trash issue.
Neighbors call it a filthy, smelly problem. Some people say their trash has not been picked up for weeks.
The commissioner has said staffing is down and impacting operations.
We have experienced some COVID affecting our staff also.
Now, remind you, we do a sidewalk sale. We're the only business on this entire block that does a sidewalk sale. But having like mounds and mounds of people's trash there, including our own, is very problematic. On Thursdays, there is an extreme amount of trash, in addition to my neighbors doing an extreme amount of construction. So today, my neighbors come over and talk to my very young children about the fact that the trash is over the line. But here's how we're gonna handle that. I actually went out and bought 4 trash cans. Here's a trash can, I'm an Oprah with it. Everybody get a trash can. You get a trash can, you get a trash can, the whole block get a trash can on us, just so that we can continue to have our sidewalk sale. Even when we reopen, I will continue to do sidewalk sales because it's been so beneficial to our business. Just having books outside that people have access to at any point. They don't, you know, if people are wary of coming in for any reason, it's so easy. So it's been our way to navigate the restrictions that we have, but also keep our store alive. So that we can have 2 stories. As you can see, I wanted the floor to match the floor upstairs. Because of COVID and because we were able to apply for grants to help us to be socially distant, what we did was we applied for a grant and used those resources to expand so that now we can have social distance in this location because it's small. We have a 500 square foot bookshop, right? So social distancing meant that we probably would only be able to have 1 or 2 customers at a time ever at the bookshop, and that's just not, you know, sustainable. And then Black Lives Matter Philly sent us a check for $5,000. So that's on its way. And, you know, that'll help, you know, continue the mission, right? It'll help us to continue to do the work. At first, when things first closed down and folks told me to apply for things, and, you know, it was like we were ineligible. We were too new. We didn't have enough employees. We didn't have, you know, we had no tax returns. Rejections were getting to be a bit much, but we did apply for 2 grants that we got both of those. So that was a huge lifeline. I was like, I am not keeping this brick and mortar. It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm paying rent on a building, you know, on a space that I can't even use. You know, I was, you know, really sad. And those grants, yeah, they came at pivotal points, and they've been, you know, super helpful, because like, how would we have gotten the basement done so that we can actually do social distancing? How would we have been able to do any of that without the support? Writing grants wasn't really what I signed up to do, and it's not something that I fully love. I'm in school, I'm a parent, I'm a business owner, I'm involved in the community, but understand that at least, you know, I try to set a goal of at least applying for 2 a month so that I'm still at least trying. Today I wanted to be down in DC. Today is the anniversary of the March on Washington.
Thousands of people are coming to DC for a day of activism.
People came to DC from all over the country for this.
We are going to be the generation that dismantles systemic racism once and for all, now and forever.
We're not alone in this struggle and this fight anymore. It is no longer a black and white fight.
It's something that I would love to have participated in, and probably would have participated in if it wasn't if we didn't have to be here opening the store, which is my responsibility and my passion and my love. And, you know, it's just hard. It's hard. I constantly have to make decisions about where to go and what to do. I'd love to fly out to Wisconsin and support the organizers there and make sure that they have books and a sustainable plan for how they want to move forward and knowing exactly what you want and what you're demanding and how to get those demands met. And at this moment, I just can't go. I have to be here with the Bookshop.
Yourself? Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys are good?
Yeah,
we are. Okay, hey.
What I do know is that I'm still shipping books out to organizers. So, you know, I'm doing the work regardless of where I physically stand. And right now I need to physically stand in the institution that I'm building. I'm slightly concerned that as we get closer to the election, there's going to be more and more unrest. And what I've been told by some folks in the neighborhood is that I need to be very careful because this business and what it represents could be something that people might want to target. And so that's concerning. There's another bookstore in Philadelphia that's had their windows busted in 3 times. And so, you know,
targeted by hate.
We're talking about several Black-owned businesses in the Philadelphia area receiving racist and threatening emails overnight.
Somebody decided to send out a really nasty email to us talking about wanting to stalk us, rape us, talking about wanting to hurt my employees. Folks have been asking me, well, why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you call the police? You gotta call the police. And even the police have called me asking why I haven't called them. And what I'll say is this, a black woman was murdered by the police. And all across the country this is happening. This isn't just one person, this isn't 2, this isn't a fluke, it's happening consistently. And so it does not make sense to me to call the police. What makes more sense is for us to make a decision about how we can create new institutions that address the issues that we have, that also honor and respect and protect and really serve us. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take over this street in a few days. We're gonna protest on this street, we're gonna shut it down. We're going to host what we're calling Protect or Serve, Harriet's 2020 sit-in, right here out here on this block. The same block where they marched with bats and other foolishness just a few weeks ago. Yeah, we're gonna be a solution. We're gonna come up with solutions, we're gonna implement solutions, we're gonna be what we need to be in this world. And then we're gonna train up what we're calling some Harriets so that those folks can do that job that I was just talking about. So when you need some support, there are some people who are trained to support you that aren't trained to kill you.
You know, yesterday we had barely anybody stop by the Sidewalk Sale. That feels like a lot. You know, I wanna be honest, it's not always a good outlet. Like some days, you know, I don't know if somebody took a picture. There was a day where I was just in that back lane out on the floor like, whew, this is a lot. It's a lot. Today feels like a lot. First of all, taking all the furniture outside is hard. Saturdays and Sundays, we take the big shelf, we take all the shelves out and all the chairs. And it's just, it's taxing. It's taxing on the furniture. I broke my couch. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a taxing process and it's heavy and, you know, you gotta deconstruct everything inside so the inside looks kind of crazy and then you gotta rebuild it. It's a lot of work. But you know what really supports me is the mission. We would be a place that serves as a cultural institution. And so what we have been doing is we've been inviting musicians and artists to help us recreate that even though we're on a sidewalk. So for 1 week, we had like a 6-piece band that came with Soraya Nicole, who sang and really, really blessed the sidewalk. Last week we had a pop-up drum circle because I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to me and say, could we do our drum circle on, out in front of Harriet's? I said, sure, of course. Like that is what we're here for. We're a cultural institution.
Good. Let me get around. You see
all the way up so it's not dripping.
All the way?
Our plan is to reopen on the 26th, and we've been putting together a pretty dope reemergence. So we haven't announced at all anything, but so I don't know when this is gonna come out, and I don't know if I'm saying too much. But we did talk to about having an ensemble work with us on our reopening, and we are excited about it. And we're gonna do it in our own way, which means that it's gonna be cool. By opening up the basement, opening up the second room, and having that children's library, it gives us 3 spaces where people could be, as opposed to like everyone trying to crowd into this one small space. And so that's really vital for us, and still continuing to have the sidewalk sale gives us a 4th space. And in an ideal universe, if I can pull it off, I will get the backyard done in time, and we'll have that as a 5th space. Well, I told you before about Tina Turner. She said she don't do nothing nice and easy. We do everything a little, we add a little swag to it. What do y'all call it? Is it swag still, or is that like, no, not swag anymore? Not anymore. What is it called now? Oh, yeah. What is it called now? I don't know. You got Johnny, you know all that. Oh, a little sauce. A little sauce to it. I like sauce. No, sauce is a good one. So yeah, we add a little sauce to it. I think I knew that the whole time. Because you gotta have some sauce. Yeah, and y'all know about Tina Turner.